Hello, everyone. This is Luis Concepcion from Strategic Profit Line Trading, coming to you with the plan of the week for week number 7. As always, here's our disclosures. This content is intended for educational purposes only. I'm not providing any investment advice. Past performance does not guarantee future results, and all investments involve risk. Here's the agenda for the week. I'll go ahead and cover the news, provide a market overview of the indices, and this week we have a lot of small companies reporting earnings. However, there are still 504 companies reporting earnings, and we'll get into it. Here's our week 6 results. Pretty slow week for our entries. However, there was a lot of movement. Options we would want to know. No entry 21. There are 4 trades in progress. If you didn't get into those, you can feel free to take a look at those charts from last week. That's Monday, Generac, Airbnb, and Moderna. And those are the zones that close. Those are those are 3 of those closed in the zone on Friday. Here's an outlook of week 7. Again, a lot of companies reporting. Obviously, Monday's a holiday, so we'll have a couple of companies reporting after the market that is closed. And we'll start Tuesday morning with Baidu and a couple of other companies reporting. So I went ahead and I updated. The only trade that pretty much went in and closed was Win. And we are 10-1 on the year. Moving into the news, as everybody knows already, Monday the market is closed. However, for those of you who are trading future and forex, pay attention to the Australian dollar in the evening and the British pound at 11 p.m. Moving on to Tuesday, when the market reopens, you can see that the Canadian dollar has their CPI report, so be mindful of that for you, those of you trading futures and forex. There is nothing impacting the US during the day on Tuesday outside of the companies that are reporting earnings. Then again, in the afternoon, we got the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, and uh, POTUS is speaking at 6 p.m. So depending on what he says, that might cause the markets to have volatility on Wednesday morning. So be mindful of that on whatever it is that he is planning on speaking about. So moving on to Wednesday morning, again, be mindful that POTUS is speaking Tuesday. Then we have the US dollar with the FOMC minutes midday and the Australian dollar being impacted after the market is open. I'm sorry, after the market closes. Moving on to Thursday, we got unemployment claims that will be affecting the US markets, possibly at the open. This will happen 1 hour prior to the open of the market. And then on Friday, we have the euro being affected in the wee hours of the night and the Canadian dollar pre-market. And then 15 minutes into the market on Friday, be mindful that we have the PMI report. So pretty quiet week this week with the news. However, anything unexpected can happen, and that unexpected news will be might occur Tuesday in the evening when POTUS is scheduled to speak. All right, moving into the charts this week, as you can see, starting with the SPX, we had a good last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, close to the all-time highs. However, we did not make an all-time high. There is no supply in the S&P 500. With that being said, the first demand zone I have for you is 58.53 to 5802.48. Next, moving into the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ did indeed make an all-new time high on Friday, so it is a little stronger than the S&P 500. However, I have no demand for you until 2540 to 2383. So the NASDAQ does have a lot to move, and with NVIDIA earnings coming up on the 26th, that might be the catalyst to move the market and or what POTUS decides to say this week. All-time highs was 22,139. Again, no supply in the NASDAQ. However, there is one level left in the futures market, so be mindful of that. That may be the also what may turn us around. Again, demand zone 2540 to 2383. Moving on to the Dow Jones, also known as the diamonds, you can see that the diamonds also did not make an all-time high, so it is a little weaker than the S&P 500 and lagging the NASDAQ. NASDAQ being the strongest this past week. And the first demand zone I have for you is 433.19 to 430.64. In the event of an overshoot of this level, you have 425.24 to 421.26. And lastly, the rut, as the rut being the rut, our levels have not changed all year. Just in a sideways environment, first supply zone being 2333.73 to 2370.13. And our level from December is still holding intact. In the event this level doesn't hold, you can attempt to try to trade the 2412.03 to 2461.77. On the demand side, no demand till 2018.33 to 1956.32. Again, Russell just moving sideways, as it usually does. Now, moving into earnings for the week. Let me get on the right week. That might help. Let's go to week 7, and here we go. First company I have for you is UFPI, Universal Forest Productions. On the supply side, 131.25 to 135.14. On the demand side, 103.63 to 100.17. Next company starting Tuesday morning is Baidu. Chinese stocks are starting to move. This level has held Baidu for quite some time. That level is going to be 85.10 to 72.99. On the supply side, 128.08 to 136.51. Next company I have for you, ticker symbol AXSM. No supply. It has just made an all-time high last week. First demand level I have for you is 95.38 to 91.75, with a subsequent level right below it at 88.87 to 79 even. Next company, Medtronic, ticker symbol MDT. On the supply side, getting close to it, 94.97 to 96.95. On the demand side, 81.64 to 79.26, with a subsequent level right below it at 75.58 to 74.16. Next company I have for you is ANET. As you can see, ANET made an all-new-time high back in January, has not recovered. On the supply side, that was the high for this year, by the way. On the supply side, 139.24 to 145.47. And on the demand side, 67.81 to 62.52. Level over there. As a matter of fact, that is my mistake. That was pre-split. They did a 4-to-1 split, and those levels were pre-split. So here goes your new supply level. 128.98 to 133.93. They did a split back in December. That's where those levels came from. My apologies. And on the demand side, 67.81 to 62.52. So be mindful that ANET has a lot of room to move in either direction, more so to the downside. Next company is Oxy. So for Oxy on the demand side, 43.06 to 36.54. On the supply side, 59.75 to 61.38. Next is Devon, ticker symbol DVN. On the demand side, 30.74. Be mindful that this level has already worked once. To 26.92. On the supply side, 53.34 to 57.51. Next is Toll Brothers. On the demand side, 112.05 to 108.77, with a subsequent level right below it at 104.71 to 95.54. On the supply side, 153.85 to 157.86. Next company I have for you is Cadence, ticker symbol CDNS. On the supply side, 320.48 to 329.12. Be mindful, this is levels of all-time high, and it's worked on numerous occasions. That is the level that's currently holding it down. And on the demand side, we got 258.90 to 246.64. Next, I got Etsy for you. On the supply side, 64.28 to 67.05. On the demand side, 40.11 to 29.95. Next company I have for you is Garmin. Garmin just recently made an all-new time high at the beginning of the month. I have no supply for you. First demand zone I have for you is 164.72 to 160.61. Next company I have for you is Wix. On the demand side, 188.06 to 174.90. On the supply side, 266.76 to 274.26. Next company, ADI, Analog Devices, ticker symbol ADI. On the demand side, 190.65 to 186.36. On the supply side, 236.63 to 244.31. Next I have is Krys, KRYS is the ticker symbol. No supply. On the demand side, 115.99 to 107.54. Next, Wingstop. On the demand side, 262.22 to 239.97. On the supply side, 394.91 to 410.18. This company made an all-new time high at 433 not so long ago. Pretty strong. Next company, BioMarin. On the demand side, 39.97 to 36.27. On the supply side, 83.41 to 85.96. Be mindful, this is a biotech stock. These biotech stocks like to gap a lot on earnings. So just be mindful of anytime you're trading a bio stock. Next is Alibaba, who has been on a tear since it hit our demand zone at 85.82. 277.89. Be mindful we can come back there. With that being said, I'm going to give you another. This level is somewhat aggressive, but we have the 102.86 to 96. And on the supply side, 147.60 to 182.27. So it has a lot of supply to get through for it to continue moving upward. Next, Wally World, Walmart, all-time highs. Walmart has been on a tear since it did a split last year. First demand level I have for you is 93.93 to 92.27 with no supply as it just made an all-time high on Friday. Next, Wayfair. On the demand side, 33.17 to 29.39. And 75.08 to 78.68 on the supply side. Next company I have for you is Nice. On the demand side, 153.84 to 140 even. And on the supply side, 219.56 to 231.59. Next company is Shake Shack. On the demand side, 78.81 to 73.64. On the supply side, 128.06 to 132.13. Next company is Burke. On the supply side, 62.29 to 64.85. Be mindful that this level has worked on 2 occasions already. On the demand side, 47.7 to 45.34. In the event, no, that's right. 47.70 to 45.34. Next is Melly. Made all new time highs. There is no supply. This is a supermarket in Mexico. On the demand side, 14.64 to 14.22. Next is Rivian. Be mindful that this supply level has already worked on 1 occasion. I usually don't cover these lower stocks, but if you're watching, this one's for you. On the supply side, 15.94 to 17.09, and on the demand side, 10.24 to 9.54. In the event of an overshoot, you have another level sitting right here at 8.98 to 8.21. And the last company I have for you is Texas Roadhouse. On the supply side, 195.84 to 200.16. On the demand side, 151.80 to 144.56. With that being said, that's gonna do it for the charts for us this week. For those of you who are not following me on social media, go ahead and please do so. Do me a favor, hit that like button to get some subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel. For those of you who have any questions, feel free to email me. Till next time, happy trading.